Hey everyone, it's Melanie here with Vintage Hill Studio. I'm so glad you dropped by today. I have such a cute card to share with you. This is my little Bear-ista card. It is from Art Impressions, the Pand-tastic set, and all of these images are just adorable. I'm so excited to share this with you. We'll be starting on a card base that's 4 by 5.5 using those two pattern papers. First off, I'll use a VersaFine ink with my Misty. And I get my little panda in the cup stamped on my white cardstock. This is just Nina bright white cardstock. And I'm using this ink because it is marker friendly. And I'll be using alcohol markers to color in my panda. So there he is. Isn't he cute? Again, I will use a light and a dark gray. And I'll start by coloring in his ears and add a little shadow around his face. And again, these images are just so cute. They're really fun to work on. A little bit of light gray on his feet. I'm using the grays because if I were to use a black marker, it would completely cover up all the detail in the stamp. So by using the grays, you get the idea that it's a black and white panda, but you get to keep the detail in his ears and his little toes on his feet and all of that, even in the eyes. So I just go back after I've got my light gray and my dark gray down, then I go back with my light gray and try to blend those colors together. Kind of smooths them out and leaves a little highlight, a little bit of shadows. Okay, and then I'm going to take my marker and lightly go around the eyes. I want to make sure that I leave that little catch light, the white part in his eyes showing, because it just adds character to his face. So by using a marker that's got a brush end and a fine tip, it really helps with those little bitty detailed areas. A little pink for the cheeks, and our panda is done. See how easy that came together? I mean, coloring the pandas is really quick. And the pink cheeks are so important because we're only using 3 colors in this whole image: the grays, the pinks, and the yellows. So here I come in with a lighter color, really sunny yellow. And I think yellow and grays are just a nice combination. So I'll get my cup all colored in here. It only takes a few minutes. It goes really quickly. Then I'll come back in with kind of a yellowish orange shade. Just gives it a little bit of a shadow here and plays up the lighter yellow. Kind of go around my cup here, and I'm going to leave a highlight right in the center of my cup so that it looks like the cup is rounded. Of course, all cups are, but I didn't want my cup to look too flat, so by leaving a little highlight right in the center, I'm attempting to give that cup a little rounded shape. All right, and come back with the lighter shade of yellow and blend those 2 colors together the best that I can. Now, because I am just working on a cardstock and not a watercolor paper, this looks a little blotchy, but as the inks dry, it will smooth out. So don't worry about that. If your image looks a little blotchy, it will all work out in the end, I promise. So that's it for coloring our whole little stamped Bear-ista image. Now this is We Are Memory Keepers mini scoreboard, and you can see there on the back they had several images that if you wanted to emboss with a stylus, you could do that. But I'm actually going to use the grooves on the front of the scoreboard to give my cup some diagonal lines. This adds both dimension and interest to the cup. And I think it came out really cute with these embossed lines. I'll give you a closer look on this as soon as I finish this. It only takes a few seconds, but look how cute. All right, so our whole image is finished. And we're ready to start putting our card together. So I've cut a mat out of that polka dot just to fit within the borders of the card. I'll get that adhered on the front, and then I'm going to use this Sizzix die, which cuts out this little scallop frame. And you'll see it'll cut out the center as well as leave the little scallop, and then I'll use that blue and gold color for an additional pattern paper for that frame. So there's the Sizzix frame scallop rectangle. I'll set aside my little Bear-ista and work on the frame. I'm not going to discard that white frame because I need it to support the pattern paper. The pattern paper is rather thin, and the cardstock of the white frame will give it a little more stability because I plan on popping up that frame with foam tape. Okay, I'll just adhere the pattern paper to that white cardstock layer. Get a little bit of glue here. Get those put together. Goes together pretty quickly. And then I'll be using foam tape, like I said, on the back of that frame. And I decided to adhere it at a little tilt. So in order to help me do that, I'm going to go ahead and get my little Bear-ista put in first. So I place the frame where I wanted it, get my Bear-ista set on my card, right in there, remove my frame, and you can see I've already added the foam tape on the back, so I'll get that all ready to go and adhere that right over my image. And there is the front of our card. A little bit of interest on the cup, a little pop-up from the foam tape, and the front is done. Now I'll be using this cute Coffee and Friends stamp from Ink-a-Dink-a-Doo. And I will fussy cut that out, just using my scissors and leaving a little border around the sentiment. And it says, Coffee and Friends, the perfect blend. And of course I thought that was a great sentiment for my little Bear-ista card. And this doesn't take but a few minutes either to cut this, fussy cut this out. And we'll be done. And I'll bring over a piece of that pattern paper that I used on my scallop frame on the front, so it ties in with the inside of my card. And then I couldn't stop myself. I had to stamp the little coffee beans down in the corner. It's just too cute not to use. So you'll see I've used almost every one of these Ink-a-Dink-a-Doo stamps on this card and my envelope, which I'll show you in just a few minutes. So there's our little coffee beans to finish off the inside of our card. Here's my finished card with the inside sentiment, my stamp on the back, and of course my lined envelope. You can see I use the coffee beans on there and a little cup on the flap. And that finishes our card and envelope. I hope you enjoyed seeing this video tutorial. And if you're interested in these stamps, again, they're from Art Impressions, and they're just adorable, sure to bring a smile to anyone's face. I hope you'll come back and see me real soon. You can visit my blog or subscribe to see more videos on my YouTube. Happy crafting, everyone!